at MBUSA.com or test drive one at your local dealer.
We interrupt our regular programming to bring you the Trump indictments. Now let's go to our studios with our host, veteran newsman, Bud Hedinger.
Thank you, Melissa Fox. Melissa will be along with us here for the next 2 hours, along with Ken Holliday, and we are glad you're with us. Dana Lash, we will rejoin in her regular time slot at 5 o'clock. Why are we on this afternoon instead of our regular slot? We did the show this morning on Good Morning Orlando from 6 until 9 because we wanted to give Central Florida a voice, and we can do that. And we are glad you're with us here today. I can tell you that former President Trump is in the courthouse on the 13th floor of the Miami courthouse now, and he has been arrested. He has been processed. He's been electronically fingerprinted, and he has just pleaded not guilty to all 37 federal felony charges against him. This is an historic day, as I am sure you know. If you listen to News Talk, you're connected to this story. We've never before seen anything like this in the history of the United States of America. Our great country, nearly 250 years of history, and we have never seen anything like what we're seeing now. A former president of the United States, who, of course, is running to be president again and is far and away the leading candidate for the Republican presidential nomination, Donald J. Trump, now under criminal indictment and having pleaded his arraignment today, not guilty to 37 felony charges against him, that if he were to be convicted in only one of these charges against him in an upcoming trial, could possibly put him behind prison bars for the rest of his life. We want to talk with you. We want to know your reaction to all that is going on, how you feel about what is happening here. We have a one-word texting poll for you, and I'll get to it in a moment. It'll make it nice and easy for you folks who are out and about and just want to fire off a quick yes or no. You can be part of the show and the vote count. But our phone number here for our special coverage is 407-916-5400 here on News Radio WFLA, where we are freedom-loving Americans just like you. The phone number, 407-916-5400. The text line is 23680. Text line is 23680. It is wide open. Appreciate it if you kindly give us your first name and town so we can share where we're hearing from folks here, and you can make a talk back on the iHeartRadio app. If you're listening to us on the phone, WFLA Orlando, you just tap on that microphone. You can record up to 30 seconds. Right now, let's get some perspectives for what is happening down in South Florida as we are joined by Miami reporter for the Florida News Network, Erica Rodriguez. Erica, thank you very much for making a few moments for us and for our audience here on our special coverage of the arrest and arraignment of Donald Trump today. What can you tell us from South Florida?
Supporters all over the place, most heavily looking at pro-Trump supporters here, people who do support him and say they want to see him reelected come November. They say what has happened to him is a witch hunt. They really are turning back a lot of the phrases that Mr. Trump uses himself, saying that they are really trying to weaponize the system. And we do have a few people who do support what is happening right now to the president. They say lock him up. They say he's a criminal. And but overwhelmingly, the good news is that things have been very peaceful here. You do have a couple of times when the two different factions of protesters get together. They start jawing at each other, but they back off and everything calms down. We do have lots of cars that go by honking their horns. We have people who sing proud to be an American, even hearing some happy birthdays because obviously Mr. Trump's birthday is tomorrow.
Right, on Flag Day. He's a Flag Day baby. He turns 77 tomorrow, and not a particularly good day before the big day for the former president. Earlier today, there were estimates there might be as many as 50,000 protesters. Trump had said, we want you to come out. This is an outrage. This is a witch hunt. All the things that you just reaffirmed that he is saying and that the crowd is saying, some of them anyway, others are on the other side of the issue here, that there might be 50,000 protesters. How would you assess the size of the crowd, Erica?
I wouldn't say 50,000, but I would not be shocked to say maybe 1,000. There are people that are gathering all around the courthouse on all sides. So it makes it more difficult to really kind of get a grasp on how big the crowds are. But you have also a large contingency of the media here as well. And you have the supporters who are intermingling with the journalists. So it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to put a grasp on how many people are actually here for the event and who are actually covering the event.
Right, so I understand that. Erica, let me ask you a question. Earlier, when the Trump motorcade came from his Doral National Golf Club in Miami to the Miami courthouse in the heart of downtown, did anybody get a look at the president? I understand he also has the First Lady, Melania, with him.
Well, the thing is what they did is they went underground. So while here by the courthouse itself, you weren't able to see anything, there was from the side where I am on, we did not get the motorcade. But yes, people did. You can obviously tell by the choppers that are overhead. They got some scenes of the former president going underground where he was then brought upstairs to the 13th courtroom where he entered his plea.
Before I let you go, Erica, any indication that Trump will address the crowd, that he called to be there for him to protest his arraignment, that perhaps when he is through in the courthouse, he might somehow come out and talk to the crowd? Do you know whether that is a possibility or not?
No, we had one of his spokespeople already come out and basically say the many same things that I've said before, that they're weaponizing the system and that they're creating a two-party kind of situation here.
Two tiers of justice, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Alina Habba, that's the attorney for Trump, exactly. And we will play her sound here shortly. Florida News Network reporter Erica Rodriguez, thank you so much from out among the protesters outside the Miami courthouse, inside the arrest and the arraignment of former President Donald Trump. Thank you, Erica, ever so much.
You're welcome so much.
So what is your reaction to all that has gone down with the indictment last week? 37 felony counts. First time there's been a federal indictment of a former president of the United States in U.S. history. And also, here's the one-word texting poll. And we can talk about this. We can do long-form texting and talkbacks. But if you want to make it easy on yourself, here's my question for the texters. Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or no to 23680. Text yes or text no to 23680. Now, this is not, do you want him to be convicted or do you want him not to be convicted? It's, do you think he will be convicted? Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680. 407-916-5400. We'll take phone calls here, but I don't think we have anyone on the line right now. We lost a call here, Melissa. At least it indicates that on my screen.
Yes.
Are you with us?
I'm here.
Hello there, Sean. You're up. You're on with the Bud Man, and thank you very much for being part of our special coverage. First caller, have we got you?
Yes, sir, you got me.
What do you think?
Sad day. It's a sad day for America, no matter who you affiliate your party with, in my opinion. I think this is a political hit job. It's a political assassination, and they almost got getting away with it. It looks like they might even. I have a feeling he might not be able to escape some sort of a conviction on this with 37 counts. And any one count that he's convicted on, in my opinion, is a travesty of justice in the United States of America. As a veteran that has served overseas in combat, I'm heartbroken. I'm more heartbroken now than I was when the debacle in Afghanistan happened. This is even worse than that.
Sean, thank you very much for listening to our special coverage here today and for being a part of our show and calling in. We do appreciate it. You sound like a real patriot, and we are glad you are with us. Sean, thank you. You're not alone in feeling it's a sad day here, no question about it. I'll tell you what Trump is saying on Truth Social, his social media platform, and we will hear from his attorney who spoke outside the courthouse, as Erica Rodriguez, our reporter, said a moment ago. So stay with us for special coverage until 5 o'clock of the the arrest of former President Donald Trump in Miami.
You're listening to live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000 on News Radio WFLA. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Summer is here. Right now is the perfect time to switch to solar energy, and you can get your system for as low as $89 per month if you qualify. Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000, and get ready for the summer solar savings. Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000.
Hi, I'm Bill, and I'm here with Chris from S&W Kitchens.
One of the things that I talk to clients about is they don't want to spend too much, but they definitely don't want to spend too little on the project.
I always ask, are you planning to live here for a while, or you just want to make it nicer to resell it? We approach that differently.
We try to offer all of the different options and accessories up front while we're talking about the project from the beginning.
Call S&W Kitchens 407-545-4901 or online snwkitchens.com.
Let's be real. Florida home insurance is an absolute nightmare, and with hurricane season here, you need a home insurance company you can depend on. That's why there's Open House, a tech-enabled home insurance provider that uses smart data to keep your premiums low. Get an obligation-free quote in seconds and join your neighbors who are saving big money. Get discounts for your smart life choices like having a gym membership or a dog. Start saving today at openhouseinsurance.com. See openhouseinsurance.com for details. This advertisement does not constitute a binding offer or guarantee of coverage.
Here we are, almost at the halfway point of 2023. Are you still dealing with aches and pains? Time to stop putting it off and do something about those issues with your knees, hips, shoulders, and or back. And I'm not talking about pills or surgery. I'm talking about QC Kinetics. I'm Alan Spector, and I've been telling you about their advanced regenerative treatments that free you from chronic joint pain. They'll allow you to take part in all of those summer activities you used to enjoy. The folks at QC Kinetics take healing properties from your own body and apply them directly into your aching joint, repairing and restoring joint tissue naturally. They're the nation's leader in this revolutionary treatment. It all happens without drugs, without surgery, and without any downtime. QC Kinetics is bringing life-changing results to patients across America. Don't let any more time pass before you call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. The number, 689-244-7980. 689-244-7980 in Orlando, Winter Park, in the Villages, 689-244-7980.
Eating good is about more than just tasty food. Eating good is about doing good, too. And that's exactly what Fresh from Florida is all about. Supporting local Florida farmers, creating jobs in our communities, and of course, making sure you can enjoy all the fresh flavors Florida has to offer. Because produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. So eat good tonight. Look for the Sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Everyone has valuables, and Liberty Safes has the perfect safe designed for your specific needs to protect the things most important to you. Firearms, jewelry, and more. Southeast Safes carries the full line of Liberty Safes, all built in America by American pride and backed by a lifetime warranty and fire protection. Southeast Safes sells secure, reliable storage that can be customized to suit your needs. Visit SESafes.com today to shop their full line of Liberty Safes. That's SESafes.com. Southeast Safes, because everyone has something to protect.
Summer is here. Right now is the perfect time to switch to solar energy, and you can get your system for as low as $89 per month if you qualify. Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000, and get ready for the summer solar savings. Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000.
Hi, I'm Joel Osteen. I've learned that you'll never meet the right people unless you get rid of the wrong people. Life is too short to hang around people that are pulling you down, draining your energy, keeping you from your best. I have a podcast where I talk about choosing the right people, having great relationships, so you can become all you were created to be. It's inspiring and encouraging. I think you'll enjoy it. Listen to the Joel Osteen Podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
WFLA Orlando is your news radio station. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Now back to News Radio WFLA, Orlando's live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are glad you're with us. Dana Lash will be with you at 5 o'clock. We wanted to give all of Central Florida a voice here on the 50,000-watt front porch on News Radio WFLA, and that's why we are on with special coverage. We love Dana. Don't worry. We don't like preempting her, but we can only put one thing on the air at a time, and she will be here and loaded for bear at 5 o'clock. I promise you that. Our one-word texting poll, and this is good for calls as well, and our phone number is 407-916-5400. I want to know how you're reacting to the arrest and the arraignment today for the first time in history of a former president of the United States, Donald Trump, in the courthouse in Miami. 37 felony charges against him by the Biden Justice Department and Special Counsel Jack Smith. The indictment announced by Trump last Thursday, as I'm sure you know. Your reaction? Absolutely want to hear it. And it's a talk show. Give us a call at 407-916-5400. It's more convenient. Hit the text line at 2360. Make a talk back on the iHeartRadio app. The text line is 23680. First name in town, if you will. We'll share it. The one-word texting poll is this. Do you think Trump will be convicted? It's not whether you want him to be or not. It's, do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680. Reporter Erica Rodriguez, who joined us from the Florida News Network outside the courthouse, where she estimates roughly 1,000 people, on both sides of the issue of the arraignment and the indictment of Trump here, said that there was a spokesman for the Trump campaign who came out, and that would be attorney Alina Habba. Here is what she had to say.
We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon. This is not our America. Thank you.
Trump attorney Alina Habba, short time ago. Now, going into the courthouse on the way from Doral National, the golf club down there, where the president had come from Bedminster, his golf club up in New Jersey, to which he returns tonight, and makes, would you believe, a campaign speech at 8:15 tonight? I'll be rolling on that for Good Morning Orlando tomorrow morning, and we will hear from him. Can you even imagine the stamina of this man with all he has been through? 77 years old, he turns tomorrow on Flag Day. And look at what kind of a day this has been.
I don't know how do you stay focused.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how he stands it. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible when you think about that. He's 77 years old tomorrow. He's been through all of this for all of this time, and he will be on an airplane to Newark, New Jersey, and he will be at his club, and he will give a speech, and he will give them hell tonight at 8:15.
That's dedication.
It's unbelievable.
That's a new item on the menu at McDonald's. That's what that is.
It's passion. It's passion, and it's belief in yourself, whether you believe in him or not. Wow. Anyway, got carried away there. Let me just say this. Truth Social, going into the courthouse. On my way to the courthouse, Trump writes, witch hunt, make America great again. And then one of the saddest days in the history of our country. We are a nation in decline. We will monitor the Truth Social line. At some point, the former president may be free of his duties in the courthouse here. Let's go to Kay. You're on the line here, and welcome to our special coverage of the arrest and the arraignment following the indictment of former President Trump. Kay, thank you for calling.
Thank you for taking my call. I live right here in Orlando, and I'm wearing my Women for Trump T-shirt right now. But I'm saying the reason why he's going through all of this is because of draining the swamp and the layers of evil and corruption that has been going on for all this time. Otherwise, they would not be treating him this way.
What are your emotions today as you see Trump, your guy, being the first former president ever to be arraigned on a federal indictment? What are your thoughts?
My heart breaks for him and for Melania and the whole family. He is a Christian. He has spoken and has attended Bible studies, all of these things and activities that he's been involved in. And that's one of the reasons why he's hated by the opposite side, in my opinion.
Let me ask you before I let you go, Kay. How do you think this is going to play out? I'm essentially asking you to respond on the phone, long form, to the one-word texting poll. Do you think Trump will be convicted? Yes or no?
I'm going to pray no, and I'm going to believe no. I'm going to speak no.
Kay, thank you very much. Nice to have you with us here on News Radio WFLA for our special coverage here this afternoon. We hope you'll join us tomorrow morning from 6 to 9 on News Radio WFLA for our whole gang with Good Morning Orlando. As far as the charges are concerned, just to review here, 37 counts for mishandling classified documents. Trump has been charged with 37 counts, 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information, 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice, 1 count of withholding a document or record, 1 count of corruptly concealing a document or record, 1 count of concealing a document in a federal investigation, 1 count of scheming to conceal, and 1 count of false statements and representations. He is denied any wrongdoing whatsoever. Here's the thing. If he is convicted on one of the most serious charges, the maximum prison term is 20 years. You seldom get that. But even for a 77-year-old man as of tomorrow, you could, with the sentence off just 1 count. In one instance, the jury is unanimous. Donald Trump, in all likelihood, could go to prison for the rest of his life. Former Senator Marco Rubio had a very interesting take on this earlier today, reflecting what I think a lot of folks are thinking, and I will share that with you as our special coverage continues until 5 o'clock. And we'll bring you news at the top and the bottom of the hour. And, of course, we'll be talking with you. There's a lot more to come with our eyes on the courthouse in Miami, from which the former president has yet to emerge. Good afternoon at 3:28.
Now, news from the WFLA News Center.
Former President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to his handling of classified documents. He appeared at an arraignment hearing at a federal courthouse in Miami this afternoon. Trump became the first former president to be indicted on federal charges last week. Major drug trafficking operation in Central Florida is out of business. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood says more than 40 arrests have been made so far. Lots of fentanyl and cocaine is off the streets thanks to Operation Daily Dose.
These drug traffickers were responsible for distributing kilo amounts of fentanyl in Volusia and Lake County on a monthly basis. Conservative estimate, 6 to 8 kilos a month have been coming in and destroying our counties.
Also seized cocaine and marijuana and $100,000 in cash. With Florida's News, I'm Reed Shepard.
From the Airflow Designs Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
Looking at your normal slowdowns on I-4 this afternoon in the Orlando area as you travel east and westbound on the interstate, things are stop and go between the Beach Line and 535 and between Osceola Parkway and Central Florida Parkway. No major problems or delays for those taking the Beach Line itself or the Greenway. If you do see any traffic problems today, make sure to call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
Welcome back. Dave and Herb here, and we're talking fresh.
Fresh from Florida, that is.
There's tomatoes, broccoli, watermelon.
You're just putting fra in front of produce.
As in fresh from Florida.
You don't need to make up words. Friends, visit followfreshfromflorida.com to see what's in season.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
Tune in at 1:30 p.m. Monday and Wednesday for the On the Money Financial segment, brought to you by Certified Financial Group, recently chosen by CNBC as one of the top 100 firms in the country. Looking for timely advice? Their certified financial planner professionals working as fiduciaries provide financial planning and investment advice for a fee. Schedule your no-obligation consultation today at financialgroup.com. Financial planning and investment advice is offered for a fee through Certified Advisory Corp., a registered investment advisor.
IDC's giving you a reprieve from sky-high interest rates with an unbelievable offer right now. 0% interest financing on practically everything. All rings, all earrings, all bands, all bracelets, all designer jewelry, even GIA-certified diamonds. Buy now and get fast, easy 0% financing for 5 years. That $9,000 engagement ring comes to just $150 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. Say no to high prices and high rates. Get the guaranteed best price and enjoy 0 interest financing. Only at International Diamond Center.
This 0% finance offer at IDC is insane. People are driving for hours to do this. It's 5 years, 0 interest financing. Whether you spend $3,000 or $30,000, you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 in interest. And this includes every diamond at IDC. All shapes, from 1 carat to 20 carats, GIA certified diamonds. Get the extreme value price IDC is known for a limited time. Enjoy 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through July 2nd at International Diamond Center.
4 Orlando locations. Unapproved credit.
Hi, it's Alan Spector, and it's time for your Proactive Health Watch on News Radio WFLA with our host, Life Imaging FLA. With me is one of the co-founders of Life Imaging FLA, Judy. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Alan.
Don't wait until it's too late, and you have a perfect example of that.
I had a gentleman call 2 days before Thanksgiving one year, and I scheduled him the following day. Came in and got scanned. I called him to let him know he had major blockages, that he needs to get to the doctor ASAP. Monday morning, I came back to work. Receptionist said, Judy, you've got a call on the phone, and the gentleman's crying. I pick up the phone, and it's the gentleman's son. He says, Judy, my dad didn't make it for Thanksgiving. We found him on the floor dead with a heart attack.
And you're introducing yourself to Orlando with a free heart scan with a value of $699 with just a few minimum requirements. Call Life Imaging FLA from your cell. Call pound 250. Say the keyword free heart scan. That's pound 250. You'll be connected in seconds. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from iHeartMedia.
Living with a body of water right outside your home sounds delightful until these boogers start showing up. Mosquitoes aren't just annoying. They can carry deadly diseases like Zika and West Nile virus. But with Summit Mosquito Dunks, you can have your pond without all the worry. Simply drop a Summit Mosquito Dunk into standing water and kill mosquito larvae for 30 days or longer. Mosquito Dunks are harmless to people, pets, fish, and wildlife. So it's just that stop hanging around. Visit SummitResponsibleSolutions.com.
Now back to News Radio WFLA, Orlando's live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Good afternoon. Coming up on 3:34 on a Tuesday afternoon. Eyes on the courthouse in Miami. Apparently Trump is still there. We didn't see him going in. Motorcade went down underneath the building, and he went up on the 13th of June to the 13th floor where that courtroom is. You know, I don't know whether you're superstitious or whether he is or not. He probably doesn't give a rip about that. But it's June 13th, and he's been arrested. He's been arraigned on a 37-count federal indictment, making the worst kind of history. I have some questions about this and some things we've been talking about on the morning show, Good Morning Orlando, from 6 to 9. And, of course, we invite you to be with us every weekday morning for that. Bud Hedinger here, along with Melissa Fox and Ken Holliday. Our phone number, if you want to react to all that's happened with the indictment of Trump last week and the arrest and the arraignment today in Miami, sound off at 407-916-5400. If you are fired up about this, something you have waited to see for longer than you can count the years, or if you are angry if you are fed up, if you are frightened where this might be leading us as a divided nation, we need to hear from you because I know you want to get this off your chest. Give us a call at 407-916-5400. Get on the text line at 23680, or you can make a talk back if you're listening on the phone, as so many do. WFLA Orlando, tap on the microphone, make a recording up to 30 seconds. Marco Rubio, Florida senator, was on Fox early this afternoon as I was getting ready to come on in here for our special coverage, which, by the way, extends till 5 o'clock, and we'll bring Dana Lash back for the final hour of her show. We wanted to give Central Florida a voice, and that is what this is all about. Senator Rubio said this indictment never should have been brought, that it will further tear the country apart, posing a question that Mark Levin has posed and others, and has been on my mind as well. When you look at that, these are very serious charges of mishandling classified documents, some according to the government, the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department under Merrick Garland, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, involved relations with our allies, with our enemies, nuclear secrets, really serious stuff. But it isn't like Trump sold any secrets to our enemies. Nobody is alleging that he did that. And for this, we're going to tear the country apart and see if we can get one unanimous verdict out of 37 counts and put him in jail for the rest of his life at age 77 tomorrow. Bill, you're in DeBerry. Welcome to our special coverage here of this historic day with the arrest and the arraignment of former President Trump.
Yeah, hey, bud. First of all, thanks for doing double duty today. I know that's tough on you.
We'll be all right. Are you kidding me? I'm in my prime.
All right.
I'm rounding into form here.
I like most people, I'm ready to spit nails, man. I really am. I just, for the life of me, I can't understand what is the difference between what he did and all the other presidents that have taken documentation, and what is the difference between what Trump did and what Hillary did? Will you please help me understand? And I don't want to hear it because it's Donald Trump. I mean, really, categorically, please tell us what the heck is the difference.
Oh, the FBI said that they took a look at it and they realized that, she didn't really do anything all that wrong. The FBI director at the time, Comey, said that, no responsible prosecutor would bring a case against her. Yeah, sure. She trashed 33,000 emails and she whacked cell phones full of information with hammers, for God's sakes.
Well, will any practical jury convict Trump, do you think?
I don't know. What scares me about this is there are 37 chances to get him.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. That's the reality there. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to have you with us. Give us a call. We want to know how you're feeling about this today and how you think it's going to go. Ken?
Well, an interesting. He asked that question just now. There was a text that came in and said he doesn't. This fella doesn't think it'll happen. The area where the jury comes from will be evenly divided, and they think it'll be a hung jury. And after he's elected, he may be able to pardon himself before he actually goes on trial.
Well, if he does get elected again, and I have questioned his ability to win the general election. I mean, right now it looks like the Republican nomination is a slam dunk, but things can change quickly in presidential politics, as we've learned over the years.
Right.
He's up like 36% in one point, 38 points in another. Two polls taken after the indictment last week, and his lead only got bigger. But you're right, if he were to win the general election, and the reason I have doubts about that, and I've expressed them on the show, and it makes some of you mad who want me to say only good things about Trump. I thought the guy was a great president on policy. It was unbelievable. All you have to do is look one issue after another, how much better off this country was and how much better we were doing under Trump than we are doing under Biden and the rest of the left-wing wackos in Washington. But my problem is, in order to win the general election, anyone running for president who has gotten their party's nomination has to have more than their base of support. The Trump base is the most rock-solid political base in the history of presidential politics, but there are not enough people in it. You must be able to attract some moderate Republicans in this case. You must be able to attract independents in the middle.
Right.
And I think he has turned off a lot of them. I think he's strong on the right, but I think he would really struggle to win in the general. Now, maybe all of that will change, but it's my assessment right now. But he can't pardon himself unless he wins the general.
Exactly.
Winning the Republican nomination doesn't get that done, right, Ken?
Right.
Yeah, let's go to some other text line messages that we have that are coming in here. And if you and Melissa want to share some of these with the folks here to give them a little bit of relief from me, I can tell you this. Yes, we are in a banana republic right now. It's disgusting. Another from Steve. This is a political hit job. It is as if the Democrats want a civil war while they control the military.
Yeah, I like this one. I think the Democrats are planning all this against Trump to, quote, unquote, allow Biden to be able to pardon himself and Hunter if and when the charges come through against the two of them. They'll pardon Trump at that time also, just to prevent, looking like they're crooked.
Now, that's a really interesting take. I thought I had thought through all of the scenarios here, but I don't think I quite had a handle on that one. That's why we are tapping into the smartest audience in talk radio, which is exactly what I dub our Good Morning Orlando audience here, that I have been privileged to serve for 20 years here on News Radio WFLA in the morning. Let's see. Yeah, your point about the jury pool potentially is a good one. There is a lot of Trump support in South Florida. And I think one reason why the government not only chose a pro-Trump judge who was nominated by Trump, Eileen Cannon, so he couldn't say, you can't get a fair trial, I got a Trump-hating judge, or I can't get a fair trial because there's nothing but a bunch of left-wing Democrats and Trump haters. He's not going to be able to say that. He's not going to be able to say that. And whether it winds up being Miami or Palm Beach County could be even better, there could very likely be folks inclined toward Trump on whatever jury is selected. Let's go to Bill. Welcome to our special coverage of the arrest today and the arraignment in Miami of former President Trump. Bill, what's your thought? Bill, are you with us?
Hello?
Bill, I'm sorry. Are we connected here? Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I am an independent, and I would vote for Trump again.
Why is that? Tell us about that.
Well, the economy was great before the fake pandemic started.
All of America was in better shape pre-pandemic in the heart of the Trump administration, without question. Now, let me ask you this. My assessment is that he can win the Republican nomination. Even that's not a sure thing this far out, given all of his legal troubles, because he's got other things coming his way that he's going to have to deal with along with this. But having said that, do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you agree with me that the Trump base is not enough, and he might have trouble in a general election attracting a broad enough base to actually win?
Well, I don't know what you mean by Trump base. I think he probably got about 90 million votes last time.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. 90 million we're up to now. 90 million we're up to. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the call. Now, we need to take a short break. Am I correct on that? We do not need to take a short break. We need to take another phone call. Let's go. Is it Joe? Welcome in to our special coverage. Good afternoon to you. Hello? Who's on the line, please? Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, Bob. This is actually Steven from New Smyrna Beach.
Okay, you're on. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Steven. Yeah, that last guy probably not an independent, but I am an actual independent. And I just noticed that with this Trump information, it's not like Hillary. It's not like Bill Clinton. If we want to talk about the actual substance, the man had nuclear information, vulnerabilities about our allies' defenses at his house, not secured, and he was told to turn it over for a year and a half, and he wouldn't, and then he lied about it. All he had to do was turn it over, and he'd be okay.
Now, on
No
that
one's
score,
talking about that.
Stephen, no, I agree with you 100%. And that is something I wanted to get into today, because when you look at this, all he needed to do when the archives called, the National Archives, was to say, oh, yeah, here they are, lock, stock, and barrel. Why didn't he do that? Let's take that up as our special coverage continues today until 5 o'clock. Trump in the Miami courthouse, still there as far as we know. He has been arrested and he has been arraigned. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Good afternoon. It is 3:45.
On the Psychology of Your 20s podcast, host Gemma Sveg explores the confusing and wonderful transitions of the first decade of adulthood. From imposter syndrome and the myth of the dream job to friendship breakups and more. Break down the concepts that drive these defining experiences.
Life is not about being perfect. And if you go through life believing that it is, your happiness is always going to rest on your next failure.
Listen to the Psychology of Your 20s on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Central Florida, Dave Ramsey here. When you need advice on your taxes and want to work with someone who has the heart of a teacher, you need to see Larry Herring, CPA. He's one of our tax-endorsed local providers, and he's ready to talk with you about all your income tax needs. Larry Herring will help you manage your taxes just like any other expense. Take it from me, Larry is your guy. 407-647-7777 or at herringcpa.com.
When you're injured in a car accident and the insurance company denies your medical bills, denies to pay your lost wages, and won't repair your car, it's time to fight back. Time to call Farah and Farah at 800-500-5555. Orlando.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Join me weekdays for This Morning, America's First News. Hear the stories you'll be talking about and searching for all day as we go beyond the headlines and above the chatter with your first look at breaking news, money, Washington politics, technology, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and sports. We explain why stories matter. That's why we are referred to as the most important and relevant radio program.
America's First News. Gordon Deal, mornings at 5 a.m. News Radio, WFLA Orlando. You're listening to live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000 on News Radio WFLA. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Along with Ken Holiday and Melissa Fox here. Special coverage of the arrest and the arraignment in South Florida at the Miami courthouse of former President Donald Trump. An historic day that has never happened before in the history of this country, pleading not guilty to a 37-count federal indictment involving the alleged mishandling of classified documents, carrying nuclear secrets and all kinds of things. And we're talking about it with you. The phone number, if you want to react to all that's gone down since that indictment last Thursday, give us a call. Let her rip one way or the other. You know, you're mad, you're glad, you're sad, whatever it is. 407-916-5400, Text line 23680. First name in town, please, or make a talk back on the iHeart Radio app. So a nagging question for me is, and it's come up here, all Trump had to do when he was told that there were classified documents down there at Mar-a-Lago, you're missing some stuff here, Mr. President. You can't take that stuff with you. If he had just said, yeah, all right, well, we'll check around and find whatever we can find him. Come on down and take a look. I mean, anything would have been an oversight, and we're very sorry about it. None of this happens. None of this happens. None of this happens. Why did, in a way, Trump has brought this on himself. Whether it's deserved or not, we can debate. But it never would have happened if he had just said, yeah, sure. Whatever you think you need. It was kind of a big hurry at the last minute. Maybe we didn't plan too well to get out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Why did Trump not? Why did he fight it? Why did he fight it? I have a theory, Melissa, and I know you have one too. Here in brief is mine. He hated the way the election turned out. I don't want to debate whether the election was stolen or whether he just flat lost to a guy he can't believe he lost to. He loved being president of the United States. He hated losing and having to leave the White House. And he just flat took a part of it with him. A part of that connection to the power of the presidency. Now, Melissa, what's your thought on this?
Well, let's go back a little bit. Say when you moved from the Winter Springs area, or rather over here in the Springs to Winter Springs. You remember when you moved a long time ago? Right?
Yeah, sure.
Did you pack? Did you pack or did the wife pack everything?
I think I did the heavy lifting, but,
Did you
it was a combined effort.
For the most part, it looks like a woman packs up everything. I don't think Trump had one thing to do with packing up the papers or even shoving them wherever the heck they were, let alone knowing what paper was there. He was just like, let's get out. Let's go. Fine.
Okay, so it's all an accident. He didn't know what was all in the boxes, and it was chaotic and all of that. We get it. All right. But when he was told, you got to bring this stuff back here. You don't have the right to it now that you're not president. Why did he fight it?
I'm going to ADHD
why?
It because of the words you just said. If they told him to do it, he's not going to do it. I mean, it's bottom line. It's like a 12-year-old. Okay, stay away from the booze while mommy's out.
And he's taking a shot or two.
Exactly, okay? He's just one of those people that if you tell him he needs to do something, unless it's his idea, it's not going to happen.
Let's go to Sean on the phones at 407-916-5400 on this historic day. Welcome to our special coverage, Sean.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Well, I'm just fine, and I'm really glad you're with us. What are you thinking right now?
Just as you guys were talking about, you wonder why Trump would ever take these documents in the first place. Everything he's gone through with the Democratic Party in the 4 years, I wouldn't leave a pen on the desk at that point. It's just open invitation to what we're seeing today.
But how does that explain why he fought sending those documents back every step of the way?
Well, he's got to know he has them. He's got them in 2 rooms of his house. He's got to be aware.
Got him in a bathroom, got him in the bedroom, got him in a ballroom. Right. So says the government, and they have pictures.
Sure. We saw the pictures.
Why did he not say, here, guys, yeah, sure, take them?
Right.
Why not?
Take them. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I didn't know what they were. Yeah.
Why
exactly.
not? Why not?
Well, is he legally allowed to have those documents? He can declassify information, but what's the policy of the White House when the president is leaving the office?
They're not supposed to take any of that stuff with them. But it happens sometimes. It gets mixed up with things. In the case, the government will tell you that Biden, when his stuff was discovered, said, here it is. Mike Pence, same thing. Trump defied a subpoena and was not forthcoming. Apparently, they say lied to his lawyers even who then testified that there's nothing down here because that's what they believe to be true. That's what is in the indictment. Still, of course, to be proven in court whenever the trial happens. Let's go to Rita and welcome aboard. We are glad you're with us, Rita. What's your take on all of this?
Well, I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit of Brer Rabbit and the Briar Patch. You're asking why didn't he just return them? Well, if he's accused or convicted on any of the charges, then doesn't documents become evidence that's open to the public?
Well, I'm not sure that these documents are ever going to be seen by the public because they're classified. I'm sure there are many there that they will not allow us to see. Well, I'm sorry?
If it's evidence in a trial, don't they?
Well, I think that's going to be a real bone of contention here in a trial when you're dealing with classified documents. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm certainly not an expert in it. However, we do have a lawyer coming on in the show a bit later on. What is your reaction to today's situation in Miami? It looks like Trump and the motorcade are now exiting the Miami courthouse, Melissa?
Yes, they are leaving the courthouse as we speak. And, of course, this is after Trump pleaded not guilty.
Now, next stop is the airport's going to get on the Trump plane and fly up to Newark. And that's the closest airport in New Jersey to his Bedminster National Golf Club. And he's going there. He's going to have dinner, and he's going to have a campaign event, and he's going to speak at 8:15 tonight. And we'll tell you what he says tomorrow morning.
Look at the people running down the street with him.
Yeah, they're chasing after.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
They're running right along
Trump,
with him.
Wait!
Yeah, that's right. There were a whole bunch of them running after him.
Not going that fast. Those people obviously can't run.
Well,
no,
you don't know how fast they're going.
Out in the heat all afternoon in Miami.
They're not Forrest Gump.
All right.
I was running.
Anyway, I guess we parted company with Rita.
Yeah, she walked away.
So there we are. It's just incredible to me. I know the government wants to get him, and I know that there's no doubt about it. And there's a two-tiered system of justice here. They slow walk anything against the likes of Hillary. Well, they no walked with her, but slow walk anything to do with Hunter Biden's been going on for 5 years now. And they hop right on it when it's anything with Trump, the Russia hoax, the end justifies the means, make stuff up, take this guy down. They impeach him once, they impeach him twice, but they can't convict him either time because they don't have the votes. But they try to damage him. Now you've got this indictment. They're out to get him. There's no question about it. And I don't know whether they will or not. You know, but if you're pro-Trump, and I think he did a great job as president, his policies were terrific, keep in mind, they've got 37 chances to get him, to get a unanimous verdict out of whatever jury they have to work with here. And I just cannot believe that the prosecution that never would have brought this unless they thought they could take him out isn't ready to find a way to get a unanimous verdict and a sentence that will put Trump behind bars for the rest of his life and end his political career. Special coverage of today's arrest and arraignment of former President Trump continues until 5 o'clock. News coming up. We are glad you're with us.
If you're a longtime listener of the show, you know my brain is constantly running about 1,000 miles an hour, and sometimes I have a hard time turning things off to go to sleep. Do you experience the same thing? Have you found anything that'll help you but doesn't make you feel groggy in the morning? Because I haven't. Most of the time, you may sleep more, but you're not as sharp as you would if you could just sleep, right? Well, that's how I used to feel until the people at Relief Factor introduced me to a new product about 6 months ago. It's called Relief Factor Sleep. It's 100% drug-free. It's a blend of natural ingredients. It's designed to promote healthy sleep by reducing anxiety and stress, improving mood, and promoting relaxation. I have to tell you, I took this the first night, and I was asleep within 10 minutes. I fall asleep so fast now. I have a bottle of it on my nightstand every night. First bottle is $19.95, so unleash the power of great sleep by calling 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. Dream big and sleep tight.
WFLF Pine Hills, Orlando. WMGF HD3 Mount Dora, Orlando. News Radio WFLA Orlando, an iHeart radio station. Now, news from the WFLA News Center.
A lot less deadly drugs are on the streets of Central Florida thanks to the multi-agency Operation Daily Dose. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood says more than 40 arrests have been made so far. As for the narcotics,
we seized 2,300 grams of fentanyl. Mathematically, that equates to over 1.5 million doses that hit the streets.
Also seized heroin, cocaine, marijuana, firearms, and cash. 4 young suspects are accused of targeting food delivery workers during a string of Orange County robberies. Police say 19-year-old Devontae Johnson and Devontae Campbell, as well as 2 teens, were arrested for a reported carjacking and battery incident reported Sunday. Authorities say they're tied to a total of 4 violent incidents this past weekend. More charges are pending. Orange County residents should be on the lookout after another black bear was spotted in the area. The sheriff's office says young bear climbed a tree on John Young Parkway near Silver Star in Orlando earlier this morning. Police watched over the animal until Florida wildlife officers arrived. A similar incident was reported last week in Lake Eola Park. The bear was captured by the FWC and relocated to the Ocala National Forest. Officials recommend giving these animals space since they will typically move away on their own. And there are signs that tropics may be heating up. The National Hurricane Center says it's tracking 4 tropical waves, including 2 in the Atlantic and a pair in the Caribbean. Larry Spillman, News Radio WFLA Orlando.
Looking at your normal afternoon delays on I-4 right now in the Orlando area as you travel between Osceola Parkway and Central Florida Parkway and between the Beach Line and 535. No problems at this time for those taking the Turnpike north or southbound today. Traffic moving well east and westbound on the 408. If you run into any traffic problems today, make sure you're calling the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for summer 2023. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
From the Airflow Designs Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center.
Here's your News Radio WFLA Orlando AccuWeather forecast. We'll see partly cloudy skies for your Tuesday night with a low of 75. Partly sunny Wednesday, a thunderstorm around in the afternoon and a high of 94. Partly cloudy Wednesday night with a low of 76. Warm Thursday, times of clouds and sun. Will reach a high Thursday of 96. Plan with confidence. Download the AccuWeather app today. All day, every day, news, weather, and traffic on News Radio WFLA Orlando. I'm Drew Shannon.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends July 1st. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect, guaranteed.
You're listening to live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000 on News Radio WFLA. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second of our 2 hours of special coverage, not only of the indictment of former President Trump, but the arrest and the arraignment of the former president on a 37-count indictment down in Miami in the courthouse. Now, right now we have the aerial view of the Trump motorcade making its way away from the courthouse, headed to the airport in Miami. Trump will be on his private plane with the big Trump logo on it, flying up to Newark Airport in New Jersey. From there, he will motorcade to his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, where apparently he has a campaign appearance and a speech tonight scheduled, I am told, for 8:15 p.m. We're talking about all of this with you, and we've got a phone line open with your name on it. And you've got to have something to say that the world needs to hear. And we are here because you know what? On the iHeartRadio app, what we are saying goes worldwide on cell phones everywhere at WFLA Orlando.
TVs too, bud.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely true, Melissa. Melissa Fox in the control room, Ken Holiday as well. Our phone number to react to all that's gone down today, your take on it all and where all of this is headed for the former president. 407-916-5400. 407-916-5400. Text us to 23680. Share your first name and town if you will. We'll share it with the world. Or make a talkback on the iHeartRadio app as you listen on the phone at WFLA Orlando. Tap on the microphone and start talking. Now, I have a one-word texting poll, but we can go long form on this with your response as well. But I want to know your answer to this question. When all of this shakes out, do you think Trump will be convicted? Not whether you want him to be or don't want him to be. The question is this. Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680. Interesting polling. We got Evan? Let's go. An old friend of mine in the news business. We go back a long way. Evan Brown, it's great to have you with us on our special coverage of this historic event today. You are right there, have been by the courthouse. Welcome aboard. What can you tell our folks listening, Evan?
Thank you, Bud. Good afternoon. What I can tell you is that the hearing is over. President Trump is released on bond. He's signed a bond order. Initially, the judge had said that he is not to have any contact with witnesses. His lawyers immediately argued that a number of these witnesses are his employees, including his co-defendant, Walt Nauta, who is his personal assistant. There's no way to not have conversations with them. So the judge kind of begrudgingly had to amend the order to say no communication regarding the case with the witnesses. So what we have here now is the former president of the United States indicted on 37 federal counts having to do with documents containing classified information recovered from his estate at Mar-a-Lago, him pleading not guilty and being released. And now he'll take a ride back to the Miami International Airport. He'll board his plane. He'll fly back to New Jersey, where he lives during the summer months. He has a speech scheduled for tonight. But this is really, from a court proceeding perspective, it was kind of bland, right? This is sort of very normal and routine. But I would say in an historical perspective, this is absolutely confounding. We have a former president of the United States indicted on federal crimes, indicted by the Justice Department that acts at the behest of his political opponent, one who he might very well defeat in a general election. So this is a very peculiar place for Americans to be. If you lived in Bolivia, Cuba, Venezuela, Belarus, this would be any given Tuesday. You wouldn't bat an eye at this. But for Americans, this is a very strange place for us. And I think a lot of questions people have is what happens to the next guy? Are there these arbitrary investigations to see what can be turned up to then prosecute the next guy?
Is it the permanent weaponization of the government and government agencies by whatever party happens to be in power against the one that is not? And that is a frightening, wholly un-American concept. There's no question about it. Eben Brown with Fox News, you were out there in the crowd today. Give folks a sense of how many turned out, the balance between pro-Trump and against Trump. Take us to this event today, and I assume the crowd is beginning to disperse now that the president is gone.
Yeah, they're all beginning to sort of walk off now. It got a little rowdy, but not anything dangerous or anything. There were certainly some shouting matches, but no physical confrontations. No one really. We'll just call it mostly peaceful. I would say that the majority of people were Trump supporters. There were some people who were here for the political purposes of other candidates. Governor DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy was here himself. Note to any politician that wants to give a speech outside, make sure you have a speaker and a mic that we can hear, because no one could really hear what he said.
I love you, man, but I got to cut you loose. They got Trump inside a Miami cafe on Fox. We're going to try to pick up the sound. Eben Brown from outside the courthouse. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Care.
Trump has gotten out of the motorcade, and he's talking with a bunch of folks in a Miami cafe. Let's see if we can hear it.
But I think we should describe what's going on. Just a few minutes ago, there was they were praying over him, actually.
They were helping.
Appears they are now.
Prayer to help get him through this. This is what we're told and being conveyed to me via email. The president in this Cafe Versailles. This was an unplanned stop, but apparently known by some that he would be coming by. Let's listen again.
Big crowd of people around the former president. He looks very, very comfortable. Looking everybody in the eye, shaking hands. This is really extraordinary, given the circumstances of the day. Trump is waving to the crowd now. We're not close enough with a microphone to be able to hear him. Let's listen as they get in closer with the cameras.
I'm good. Are you okay? With you.
I heard somebody ask him if he's okay, and it sounded like he answered in the affirmative. He looks completely comfortable and relaxed. He's been indicted on 37 counts.
Superman.
Food for everyone.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
He's at the Versailles Cuban restaurant.
Yeah, I'll be there. Give me 4 hours.
Cuban sandwiches on the house.
Yeah.
Here he's closer now. This is amazing.
Let's get a picture. Come on. This guy, great champ. Just don't fight him.
He's got a pro fighter alongside him, and they're posing right now. Everybody's got their phone cameras out. Young woman's come up to him right now, guiding him to another part of the room. Singing happy birthday. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Looks like he's getting a little emotional.
I think he really is. I think he's tearing up.
Yeah.
Just a little.
He's got retail political skills like nobody. The way he is with people, a billionaire, just as comfortable with the average person as anybody ever could be. It's amazing.
He's telling them to look at New York Times. They're over here. Don't look at that camera.
Is that what he said, Ken?
Thank you, everybody. Really nice. Thank you. How did it go? I think it's going great. I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt. We have a country that's got no borders. We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline. And then they do this stuff. And you see where the people are. We love the people. And you see where they are. You see the crowds and everything else. We have a country that is in decline like never before, and we can't let it happen. I'm going to make a little speech tonight in Bedminster, and I hope you're going to be there. Can you start tomorrow? You're going to be there. You can come too if you want, okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Looks like he may be about to head back out and get in the motorcade. And that's the situation from Miami.
So much for the coffee. I think he just wanted to go in and buy everybody lunch before he headed out.
But think about it. What cafe? It's a famous Miami Cuban cafe. Who is he looking for in these votes, huh? And they love him. They love him because they know. They've come from this.
It's amazing. You heard him say what he'll say tonight, what he has said before, you know.
Yeah, packing it up. Get into
we got government corruption. We got no borders. We're a nation in decline. Aerial shot outside the cafe. Big crowd out there. Motorcade has stopped. Former president's about to get back into his armored vehicle and head for the airport and then New Jersey. Our special coverage of this historic day that just took another unexpected twist in a moment.
On the Psychology of Your 20s podcast, host Gemma Sveg explores the confusing and wonderful transitions of the first decade of adulthood. From imposter syndrome and the myth of the dream job to friendship breakups and more, break down the concepts that drive these defining experiences.
Life is not about being perfect. And if you go through life believing that it is, your happiness is always going to rest on your next failure.
Listen to The Psychology of Your 20s on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Here we are, almost at the halfway point of 2023. Are you still dealing with aches and pains? Time to stop putting it off and do something about those issues with your knees, hips, shoulders, and or back. And I'm not talking about pills or surgery. I'm talking about QC Kinetics. I'm Alan Spector, and I've been telling you about their advanced regenerative treatments that free you from chronic joint pain. They'll allow you to take part in all of those summer activities you used to enjoy. The folks at QC Kinetics take healing properties from your own body and apply them directly into your aching joint, repairing and restoring joint tissue naturally. They're the nation's leader in this revolutionary treatment. It all happens without drugs, without surgery, and without any downtime. QC Kinetics is bringing life-changing results to patients across America. Don't let any more time pass before you call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. The number, 689-244-7980. 689-244-7980. In Orlando, Winter Park, and the Villages, 689-244-7980.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. This ad is paid for by the settlement specialists. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is one of the most common cancers in the United States. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were regularly exposed to Roundup weed killer, you could be entitled to cash compensation. Bayer, the owner of Roundup, will pay more than $10 billion to cancer victims of weed killer Roundup. Call our weed killer cancer hotline now to see if you're entitled to cash compensation. Roundup has been one of the most commonly used herbicides in the U.S. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup, call now. Our team is here to fight for everyday people and to get you the compensation you may deserve. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were regularly exposed to Roundup weed killer, even if the loved one has passed away, call 800-778-9713 now to see if you are entitled to compensation. But hurry, time is limited. Call 800-778-9713. 800-778-9713.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. In the divorce process, this comes down to three key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Orlando area attorneys. Office in Orlando. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, I'm Joel Osteen. I've learned that you'll never meet the right people unless you get rid of the wrong people. Life is too short to hang around people that are pulling you down, draining your energy, keeping you from your best. I have a podcast where I talk about choosing the right people, having great relationships, so you can become all you were created to be. It's inspiring and encouraging. I think you'll enjoy it. Listen to the Joel Osteen podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Biden is one of the nastiest people in politics. And, even some Democrats have started to say, maybe we should stop lecturing Republicans so much about Trump and corruption, when clearly the president's son right now was selling influence to the tune of millions of dollars. We are not all morons. What happened to the Clinton Foundation, Clay? The Clintons were selling influence to Hillary's future presidential campaign. We're supposed to ignore that, too.
Noon to 3 p.m. News Radio WFLA Orlando. Now back to News Radio WFLA, Orlando's live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Yeah, I know he's got Secret Service protection, but Trump is just hated by so many, in the political establishment, particularly from the left, that he's got absolute guts to get out of that armored vehicle and go in and then come back out of that cafe in Miami, work the crowd, and buy them all lunch. He's got guts. He's also got really serious legal problems. Presumed innocent, but the focus of a 37-count federal criminal indictment with penalties for conviction on count after count ranging from 10 to 20 years. They sang happy birthday to Donald Trump. He turns 77 tomorrow. We're talking about the potential, upon conviction, of a life sentence. Let's get some more legal expertise and insight now as we welcome a good friend of the program, attorney Jeff Kaufman from Kaufman & Lind here in Orlando. Jeff, thank you for coming on to our special coverage here today on the arrest and the arraignment following the indictment of former President Donald Trump. What are your thoughts today, sir?
This is a tough day, even though a lot of people don't realize today is just where he gets to plead guilty or not guilty, which is a formality. But it's a tough day because these charges, these 37 counts, are pretty standard counts. They're not, it's not a he said, she said issue. It's whether he did this or not, which that's where things get a little dicey.
So if you take a look at this right now, what would you say the chances are that at some point Trump will actually be convicted of one of these or more of these charges?
Well, some of them are technical. For example, he didn't comply with the subpoena. And it's clear based on the facts that he didn't comply with these issues. But the only question is, are they, how can I say it, are they going after him out of vendetta for political reasons? But some of them are, he just didn't do something he was required to do, which, it's clear that he didn't. So that's a problem.
And when you look at what I thought this morning on Good Morning Orlando was the most damning thing I saw when I read the indictment over the weekend, Jeff, was, he has always said, I can declassify these documents, just by thinking about them. And the government says they have the transcript of a conversation, I'm sure, that will wind up being played in court, during which Trump showed one of the documents to a reporter. And speaking of a theoretical attack plan against the United States, Trump produced a document and said, according to the indictment, it's like highly confidential. And he also said, you see, as president, I could have declassified it, but he admitted, now I can't, because it's after his presidency. Now I can't, which flies in the face of everything that he has been claiming. Further thoughts on this? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's so difficult because, he has done some fantastic things through his presidency, but he just can't stop talking. And that's why I think he's lost a lot of lawyers who go, listen, I can't represent you anymore if you won't follow our requests. That's what got him in the New York case. He has got to stop talking, and I think he has a problem with that he just can't. He shoots himself in the foot. Yes. I mean, if I could imagine being his lawyer and going, Don, please, just shut up for 10 seconds.
Well, he's got a monumental ego, like a lot of people who've been as vastly successful as he has been, and I'm sure he believes himself to be the smartest guy in any room. And in most rooms, he's probably absolutely right. But having said that, it's very interesting what you raise, and I'm really glad to have you here as an attorney. He apparently was trying desperately to hire some attorneys within the last 24 hours to be in that courtroom with him today, and he got turned down left and right. Now, I was reading, and you can tell me as a lawyer whether this sounds like something that would be a reaction of prospective Trump attorneys. They were worried because he is so difficult to work with, but also because he's so polarizing that it might hurt their reputations and the viability of their law firms if they were to take on Donald Trump as a client.
Yeah, I can see that. And here's where I have problems. I watched his deposition on the civil case he had in New York. And as a lawyer sitting there, please stop saying what you're saying. You're shooting yourself in the foot. And he actually lost that civil case solely because of his, let's just say, colorful comments he made during those depositions. And if your client's not going to listen to you, why would you take that risk? And I can understand how a lot of attorneys are scared, not for political reasons, but just for, losing because you can't control your client.
Before you go, Jeff, we're talking about attorney Jeff Kaufman and Lynn attorneys here in Orlando. As an American, forget that you're a lawyer. What are your thoughts about all of this? There is a sadness to this day to me. And I think regardless of where anybody is on the Trump issue and his presidency and his attempt to reclaim it, do you feel that as I do? Not only a sadness, but a fear as to where this country is headed.
It scares me. It really does. As an attorney, I've seen where the government will prosecute somebody based on political reasons, but I've never seen it as blatant as it's done with him. And my concern is that becomes the norm now. Anytime somebody wants to get you, they put the full weight of the government down on you. And it is scary. I mean, he earned some of it, but it is scary at the same time because, that could happen to anybody. And that's my fear and that's my uncomfortableness with it.
And it all seems so wholly un-American as America we have known. Maybe it's all changing. What a sad thought and a disturbing one at that. Great having you on our special coverage here today, Orlando attorney Jeff Kaufman. Thank you so much from all of us.
Good talking to you, Bob. Be well.
You bet. Mm-hmm. Bottom of the hour, we have a news update, and we will go until 5 o'clock and then turn it back to Dana Lash in her regular time slot from 5 until 6. But we have a lot to talk about with you, and we want you to call, text, talk back, whatever. It's all ahead, and a very good afternoon, one and all, at 4:28.
Now, news from the WFLA News Center.
The amount of water being released from Lake Okeechobee is being increased despite a growing number of blue-green algae blooms. There is concern the toxic algae could end up in the waterways along the Treasure Coast. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says the 11% increase due to the fact that the rainy season is here and the lake is already at 14 feet. Destin beachgoers got quite the surprise over the weekend when they were joined by a black bear taking a swim in the Gulf.
We have a bear out of the Gulf. How crazy. Wow. I guess he's on vacation too.
After a while, the bear left the water, ran off in the sand past beach chairs and back into the wild. Miami Heat's NBA Finals run is over. Miami was ahead most of the game, but ended up losing Game 5, 94-89 in Denver. The Nuggets win the franchise's first NBA championship. Florida Panthers have a must-win Tuesday night in Vegas. With Florida's News, I'm Kimba Tyler.
From the Airflow Designs Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
Looking at your normal afternoon delays on I-4 right now in the Orlando area as you travel between Osceola Parkway and Central Florida Parkway and between the Beach Line and 535. No problems at this time for those taking the Turnpike north or southbound today. Traffic moving well east and westbound on the 408. If you run into any traffic problems today, make sure you're calling the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
Make quick and easy family meals with the tastiest flavors of Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop and find delicious, refreshing recipes for what's in season at followfreshfromflorida.com.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
VyStar is now the official credit union of the Orlando Magic. This partnership provides VyStar members with access to exclusive Magic ticket offerings and fan experiences without having to jump through hoops. With 18 branches across Central Florida, we are here to help our members reach their financial goals. VyStar Credit Union, official credit union of the Orlando Magic. Visit VyStarCU.org.
Hi, I'm Bill, and I'm here with Chris from S&W Kitchens.
We have 6 brick and mortar showrooms that have samples from plumbing fixtures to all the cabinets to the countertops.
It's nice to see them on the 3D modeling program that we have, but you can see and touch and feel full kitchens, full bathrooms. For S&W Kitchens and our professional team of designers, we'd love to talk to you and help you with your project.
Call S&W Kitchens 407-545-4901 or online snwkitchens.com.
Nothing's better than taking to Florida's waterways with family and friends. But some boat operators don't realize that bow riding is extremely dangerous. It can lead to tragic accidents if someone falls overboard because of speed or direction changes. Be sure your passengers sit only in manufacturer-designated areas while underway. Their safety is your responsibility. Safe boating is no accident. To learn more, visit the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission at myfwc.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Here's your News Radio WFLA Orlando AccuWeather forecast. We'll see partly cloudy skies for your Tuesday night with a low of 75. Partly sunny Wednesday, a thunderstorm around in the afternoon at a high of 94. Partly cloudy Wednesday night with a low of 76. Warm Thursday, times of clouds and sun. We'll reach a high Thursday of 96. Plan with confidence. Download the AccuWeather app today. All day, every day, news, weather, and traffic on News Radio WFLA Orlando. I'm Drew Shannon.
Now back to News Radio WFLA, Orlando's live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000. Here's Bud Hedinger.
4:33 on a memorable Tuesday afternoon. Glad you're with us for our special coverage of the arrest and the arraignment today of former President Trump. Never seen that before with a former president in the history of our country that goes back nearly 250 years. We'll be here till 5 o'clock. Then we'll turn it back to Dana Lash for the final hour of her regularly scheduled show. But as I said going in here with a special coverage, and I'm joined by Ken Holiday and Melissa Fox, that we wanted to give Central Florida a voice. And you have been terrific today. You have had a lot to say. And on both sides of the Trump issue and this indictment of weaponization of the federal government against a former president and would-be president again, who is leading the Republican field by an astounding 36 and 38 points over DeSantis, his closest competitor, in the two polls taken since his indictment last Thursday. It's an extraordinary story. And today, if you're just joining us, at about 2 o'clock, Trump showed up at the Miami courthouse, came from where he was staying at his Doral National Golf Club, also in Miami, motorcaded in to the basement of the Miami courthouse, up to the 13th floor to the courtroom there. No cameras allowed. There was no mugshot taken, no handcuffs. He was electronically fingerprinted, and he pleaded not guilty to all 37 charges. Finally, after some time, with a crowd outside, not of the magnitude that some had expected, that were saying we might have 50,000 people and this could be crazy, maybe, our reporters said, about 1,000 people. A lot of folks pro-Trump, others protesting against him, but it all turned out to be peaceful and uneventful. They never saw Trump. He was all underground going in and coming out. He gets into the motorcade, headed for the Miami airport, and suddenly, in the middle of our coverage of all of this in the last half hour, if you were with us, something extraordinary happened. The motorcade stopped. Trump popped out of the big beast, the armored vehicle that he travels around in as a former president, and he walks into this landmark Cuban cafe, the Versailles Cafe.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that place down in Cuba, and there's certainly votes to be had, and there sure was a photo op, and he went in there and worked the crowd and bought them all lunch.
Yeah, he did. At first, and we have a quote about the where they were going to have sandwiches.
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things, and a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
So that was Trump. What was that in the cafe?
It could have been. I'm
not sure about that, but I do know. I do know this. Tomorrow is Trump's birthday. It's a Flag Day, baby, and he'll be 77 years old tomorrow. And they all sang him happy birthday in the Cuban cafe. And Ken, you're a little closer to a TV monitor than I am. It looked like he teared up a little bit.
He did. He got a little emotional,
which is something you often don't see from tough as nails Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, they started singing, and at first he was making light of it. Oh, they're singing happy birthday, and then all of a sudden he got this look, and I was like, uh-oh.
Looking at the motorcade right now, it is rolling across the tarmac or an adjacent roadway to the Miami airport, and he's going to get on the Trump plane, and he's going to fly up to Newark Airport, and then they'll motorcade him to his National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, where he spends his summers, somewhat cooler weather most of the time. And he'll give a big speech tonight at 8:15.
Yeah. We have a rehash of the Cuban Cafe if you want to hear a little bit of it again.
Let's do it. That was a memorable moment and an absolute security nightmare. I mean, it just scared me to watch it, but go ahead.
Look at the outside.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Some birthday. We got a government that's out of control.
Okay, we want you to water.
What a great group of people. What a great group.
Happy birthday to you.
And there you go.
And then he said lunch for everybody on my birthday.
All right. I'm so excited. Everybody eats on me.
Yeah. Well, Trump pleaded not guilty to all the charges against him. The government says, we got this speedy trial provision. We could get this thing rolling in 7 weeks. It's not going to happen. And it's a really open question as to exactly when this trial will occur. But it's been set in motion by the former president pleading not guilty to absolutely all the charges against him. And they are serious charges that could put him in prison for the rest of his life. And what is scary, if you are on Trump's side in all of this, is to think they've got 37 counts, and a lot of them hold maximum prison sentences upon conviction of 10 or 20 years. And all they have to do is get a unanimous verdict on one of them, and that could be it for him.
Right. From the truthsocial.com, he just tweeted out, "Thank you, Miami. Such a warm welcome on such a sad day for our country."
And with that, the motorcade is rolling right up.
Up on the
To
tarmac.
the Trump plane,
and
yeah.
heading
There it
to
is.
the
The Trump plane's right
plane.
there. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I had a one-word texting poll up for our special coverage here, and I think I may well run with it tomorrow morning on Good Morning Orlando with Alan Spector and Lizzie Steele and Guy Roberts, and we invite you to join us every weekday morning for the best in conservative talk here on News Radio WFLA, the 50,000-watt front porch, as we call it. The one-word texting poll that I think I'll use tomorrow morning is very simply this to you, and I definitely want to hear from you on this. You can give us a call at 407-916-5400. You can give us a long-form text, a line or two will do, at 23680. Give us your first name and town, if you will, and we'll share it with everybody. You could make a talkback recording on the iHeartRadio app, listening on your phone, and you just, at WFLA Orlando, you tap on the little microphone there. But here's the question. Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680. Now, don't vote with your heart. Take a look at this whole thing with the indictment and what the government's trying to do here and the charges on that indictment that we've been through. And it's not whether you want him to be convicted or you don't want him to be convicted. When all is said and done, here's the question. Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680.
The votes are coming in so far for today's texting contest, which we will continue tomorrow. But right now, I got to tell you, it's almost 50-50.
No kidding.
Yep, I just went back and did a little tally of myself. It is so close right now, we're going to have to bring in the Chinese to figure it out.
We're not bringing the Chinese in here. I can tell you where you can put the Chinese, the Chi-Coms.
On Dominion, maybe.
Yeah.
Where are they in Budtopia?
No,
Nowhere.
they're not a part of it. I guarantee you that Budtopia, if you're not familiar with that from the morning show, Budtopia is where everyone agrees with me. You know, everything's the way I want it to be, and everyone agrees with me. It's an elusive place. But I haven't given up hope. And as Rush Limbaugh used to say,
Welcome to Budtopia.
I didn't even know you had that. And the late Rush Limbaugh used to say, I'm not going to stop talking until everyone agrees with me. That was always great. Anyway, so what about it? Do you think Trump will be convicted? Text yes or text no to 23680. And let us know on the phone at 407-916-5400 your take on that question. On the text line here, all 37 charges, Timmy writes from Kissimmee, one of our great patriots down in Osceola County area. All 37 charges should be dismissed due to malicious prosecution. What am I hearing here?
Nothing.
All right. Another Al's in Sanford. Let's see. If Trump was just holding up a piece of paper with these documents, can they prove that it was an actual classified paper or just a theoretical classified paper? I don't know. I mean, it's up to them. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. Trump is presumed innocent here. But they say they've got him dead to rights on clearly classified documents with nuclear secrets, all kinds of things that, for whatever reason, should not have been at Mar-a-Lago. And if he hadn't fought sending them back to the National Archives, none of this would be happening right now. So, to a degree, this is self-inflicted on the part of the president. He should not have to find himself here. John, you're in Orlando, and welcome to our special coverage on this historic day.
Yes. I think the worst thing against him is this conspiracy charge. I have personal thing with the federal government, and it's a catch-all. When they can't get you on actual charges, that's the one that they get you on.
Well, now, conspiracy in this case means simply that there's more than one person involved, and he had an aide that the government says was doing his bidding and moving the boxes around to keep them out of the sight of the feds and keep them out of the sight even of his own lawyers. And my understanding is in this case, when you say there's a conspiracy charge, it's simply that now we're talking about more than one person. We're not talking about a conspiracy to undermine the government or sell out secrets to the enemy or whatever. But that's my understanding of what the conspiracy is about.
Conspired to move the stuff around and to hide. Well, they don't have to prove they did it. They conspired to do it. And that's exactly what I went through. Was I conspired? The jury found me guilty of conspiring, and all the other ones. Well, we don't know whether he did it or not, but he might have conspired to do it.
Did you wind up in? Did you wind up in the slammer?
Yes, I did. 6 years inside on an 8-year sentence.
What was that like?
It wasn't fun, but
can you imagine
I've been
Trump
out for
behind
almost
bars?
40 years.
Can you?
I've been out for almost 40 years, and it was a part of my life, and
Sure.
I'm not embarrassed about it.
Can you imagine 77-year-old former president and billionaire Donald Trump being in prison for 6 years?
I know he could do it. Where they would send him, which is where I spent the last part of my time in what they call a country club. But it would definitely not. I don't think that he would deserve any of that, especially looking at what our two-tier justice system is doing.
Understand where you are, John. Thank you very much. I'm glad life seems to have turned around for you all these years later. Final quick break. Stay with us here in our special coverage of the arrest and arraignment of Trump today in Miami. 1246.
On the Psychology of Your 20s podcast, host Gemma Sveg explores the confusing and wonderful transitions of the first decade of adulthood. From imposter syndrome and the myth of the dream job to friendship breakups and more. Break down the concepts that drive these defining experiences.
Life is not about being perfect. And if you go through life believing that it is, your happiness is always going to rest on your next failure.
Listen to The Psychology of Your 20s on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Everyone has valuables, and Liberty Safes has the perfect safe designed for your specific needs to protect the things most important to you. Firearms, jewelry, and more. Southeast Safes carries the full line of Liberty Safes, all built in America by American pride and backed by a lifetime warranty and fire protection. Southeast Safes sells secure, reliable storage that can be customized to suit your needs. Visit SESafes.com today to shop their full line of Liberty Safes. That's SESafes.com. Southeast Safes, because everyone has something to protect.
Jim Colbert here. Join me daily on News Radio WFLA Orlando, 12 to 3 for your Embers Only Cigar of the Week. Brought to you by Corona Cigar Company. Luxury cigar lifestyle, fine spirits, and relaxation await at your nearest Corona Cigar. Dr. Phillips, Heathrow, downtown, or online at coronacigar.com.
If you're a longtime listener of the show, you know my brain is constantly running about 1,000 miles an hour, and sometimes I have a hard time turning things off to go to sleep. Do you experience the same thing? Have you found anything that'll help you but doesn't make you feel groggy in the morning? Because I haven't. Most of the time, you may sleep more, but you're not as sharp as you would if you could just sleep, right? Well, that's how I used to feel until the people at Relief Factor introduced me to a new product about 6 months ago. It's called Relief Factor Sleep. It's 100% drug-free. It's a blend of natural ingredients. It's designed to promote healthy sleep by reducing anxiety and stress, improving mood, and promoting relaxation. I have to tell you, I took this the first night, and I was asleep within 10 minutes. I fall asleep so fast now. I have a bottle of it on my nightstand every night. First bottle is $19.95, so unleash the power of great sleep by calling 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. Dream big and sleep tight.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
You're listening to live coverage of the Trump indictment.
Sponsored by
Sunwave Energy, 407-634-5000 on News Radio WFLA. Here's Bud Hedinger.
Along with Ken Holliday and Melissa Fox, charging toward the 5 o'clock hour, in which point we will turn it back to Dana Lash for the rest of her regularly scheduled show, having given all of Central Florida a voice in this historic day on the occasion of the arrest and the arraignment on a 37-count federal indictment of former President Trump in Miami. Now, he is on board the Trump plane at Miami Airport, and they're getting ready to go wheels up, headed up north, and he'll make a speech tonight at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey, where he summers up there. So there you go. One thing I do want to do along the way here is to bring in, you tell me when she's ready. Are we ready to go?
Let's go ahead and play that other clip first.
I want to play, we didn't hear from Trump because, he was invisible there, and there's no cameras in federal courtrooms, and I wish there were, but there isn't. So we don't know what happened with that. But we do know that it went pretty uneventfully, according to reporters who were in there and weren't even allowed to have cell phones when they were. But afterward, one of his attorneys, and you've probably seen her on the cable shows here, Alina Habba, spoke to the crowd outside and had this to say.
We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon. This is not our America. Thank you.
And that was Trump attorney Alina Habba as the crowd was chanting and as Trump was inside. And he was pleading not guilty to all 37 charges against him. The Trump plane is now taxiing at Miami Airport, be wheels up shortly. Melissa's working on one more guest for us, and while she is, I will tell you that the polling is really interesting on Trump and on this indictment. And I had it right in front of me, and son of a gun, of course, it's disappeared under a stack of stuff. I can tell you this, that there are two polls taken since the indictment that have show an expanded lead for Trump of 36 points, 38 points, ahead of DeSantis, who's number 2 in the Republican field. So for now, all of this politically is upside for Trump. Whether or not that holds, I don't know. Conservative firebrand Laura Loomer right now is joining us. Laura, where are you? Were you down there in that crowd in Miami?
Yeah, I actually organized a rally today, and so I'm still in Miami right now, and just actually got back to my room because, I was out there all day long from 8 o'clock in the morning with rally goers, and it was a really great event, and I'm really proud to say that it was completely peaceful. It didn't get out of hand, and, I was really not concerned because I know that Trump supporters are lawful and they're civil and they obey the law. But being in South Florida, growing up here and going to college here, I'm very familiar with the, leftist activist scene here as well. And I was worried that, perhaps there would be some counter protests, but very few counter protests. And it was a great rally, massive turnout. Thousands of people showed up for President Trump, and there were no issues whatsoever. It's an amazing day.
Laura, we had a reporter there who said that they didn't have anything like the huge crowds that they might have been anticipating of some 50,000 at one point. They were thinking might be in Miami, that maybe the total crowd was around 1,000, which is not bad for a hot summery day in Miami. But how would you estimate the crowd?
I would say that it was probably about probably 2,000, 2,500 people, because people were coming and going throughout the day. But at its peak, about 2,500, because, mind you, I did probably about 50 interviews today with various reporters, and they estimated thousands of people were there. I don't know who was promoting the 50,000 number, because I think it's a little unrealistic given the fact that it's a weekday. It's Miami. It's also not the best place to have a rally given the fact that it's in the middle of downtown where traffic is horrendous.
Right.
I don't even think that it would have a capacity of 50,000 people. But it was still an amazing turnout, and it was, people were packed in like sardines. I have tons of video to prove it as well. And
Laura, let me ask you a question. What was the mood of the pro-Trump crowd of which you were an organizer? What they were there, and why were they there, and what were their feelings?
So I think everybody's ashamed. And when I say ashamed, I heard that a lot today. People are ashamed of their country. People are ashamed of the government and just this two-tier justice system and the weaponization of governments against President Trump. It's sadness that this is happening to President Trump. People are sad to watch their country crumble and this egregious election interference take place where they're trying to jail the leading Republican on the ballot. So, but people were happy to see President Trump. It's his birthday tomorrow, so we made sure that we sung happy birthday on the megaphone. But it's not exactly something to be celebrating. We're here, in solidarity with President Trump, but it was a very serious mood. And I would say that everybody there was very aware of how devastating this is going to be for our country if they are successful in jailing President Donald Trump.
Now, what do you think? Ultimately, does Trump beat the rap or not?
Look, regardless of what happens, I don't think it matters, because I think that at the end of the day, he's still going to be the Republican nominee. And every single time they persecute Donald Trump, he only grows more powerful and he has higher poll numbers. So if they actually want to take it that far and they want to jail him, then we'll elect a president from jail if we have to. And President Trump can pardon himself on his inauguration day. That's where we're at right now in this country. And it seems like, from what I saw there in the crowd, every single Trump supporter there agreed. Even Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running against Donald Trump, came out and condemned Ron DeSantis for not showing up, condemned Ron DeSantis and the other Republicans for not showing up to stand in solidarity with President Trump. So you have to really admire what Vivek Ramaswamy did today. It was really a class act.
Well, he's calling for all the other candidates to sign an agreement that, that they would, if they became president, pardon Donald Trump. He's demanding that of everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's great, because look, do I think Vivek's going to win? No. I interviewed him today. We had a conversation. People can watch that video on my Twitter at Laura Loomer and on my YouTube and Rumble channel. But I asked him. I said, what do you think about the fact that Ron DeSantis isn't here today? It's his state. And he said every single Republican should sign my pledge, and I agree with him. Personally, I would take it even further and say every single Republican should drop out of the race and endorse Donald Trump. But if they're not going to drop out and endorse him, the least they could do is sign Vivek's pledge. I think it's great. It's a great idea.
I'm almost out of time here. Governor Ron DeSantis is in second place, and the gap has only grown recently. He's way behind Trump, but he's way ahead of everybody else. How would you rate DeSantis's chances here? And if Trump goes down for some reason here, does DeSantis work for you as the Republican nominee and a viable candidate to be the next president?
No, one of the reasons why I think people are really gravitating towards my reporting these days is because I've been leading the anti-DeSantis pro-Trump movement in the state of Florida. Even President Trump has been sharing my exposés of Ron DeSantis, and I like to call myself a never DeSantis, only Trumper voter, because I don't see any circumstance whatsoever in which I would vote for Ron DeSantis, even if he were the nominee.
Conservative Laura Loomer organized part of that rally down there in Miami for Trump outside the courthouse today. Thank you for joining us on our special coverage on News Radio WFLA. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Have a great night.
That'll do it. For Ken Holiday, Melissa Fox, Bud Hedinger, thank you for joining us for the past 2 hours. News coming up. Then we turn it over once again to Dana Lash. See you in the morning, 6 to 9.
There's never been a better time to get that Rolex. Right now at IDC, you can get 5 years zero-interest financing on any pre-owned Rolex watch. A $10,000 Submariner comes to just $167 a month. All hard-to-find pre-owned Rolex models are included. Hundreds to choose from. Wear it today and spread your payments over 5 whole years without a dime in interest. A $12,000 Daytona is just $200 a month. Hurry, this